weirdos and weirdettes, it's me, Haunted. Today we're going to take a look at another one of the needlessly sexy spider ladies, the Spelleaters. We're going to be working on this one today. I have already taken the liberty of spraying some Dark Reaper down, so hopefully we will not have as much issue with it as we did on this last one, which kind of drove me nutters because the paint was acting weird. We went ahead, we did do her spell effect. I have not finished it yet. Oops, where does it go? It goes like this. Something like this, yes, and connects up in her hand. So we got that partially started. Just got to come in and do some edge highlighting on these flames, but that's what we're going to go with on her. I'm still not sure if we're going to do the different flame colors for each of them. I just kind of a fan of not conformity, but things looking right. So or samey without being samey. That's one of the reasons why I like weird models, because even the minions that are the same profile, they always look different. They maintain a similar look, but they're wildly different poses or whatever. So yeah. Hey Panda, glad you can make it. Get that gem on. All right, so we're gonna swing the palette around here because we're gonna be starting anew. Okay, and we're gonna get some brush going. Oops. Do I not have my brushes over here? I do not have my brushes over here, folks. That's a little bit of a faux pas. What you do? Get my brushes over here. All right. It's a lot better. The swelling's gone down. There's a tiny bit of pain still, but it's nothing. It's more like what I'm missing? I am missing my glasses, folks. I don't know where my glasses are. That is that's potentially a bad thing. I can't see much more than a blur right now. That's not good. I think I'm a little off camera here. Push her back a wee bit. There we go. Well. I am going to have to find my glasses. So we might have to take a little break right after we just got started. Because, yeah, without being able to see, it's going to be hard to paint this model. I hate being dependent on my glasses. One of these days, if I could ever get the nerve, I'd love to have LASIK done. I worry about it. I had a friend that had it done, and they kind of messed her eyes up. I don't think the actual procedure did, but she got an infection in her corneas afterwards, and she came out worse for the surgery. So it's not something I'm anxious to do, but I really would like to be able to see without glasses. I mean, I can see, like, I can see you drive. I can see, to read, text on the monitor, that kind of thing. But for like the details of these little models, really not so good at it. So this girl has a substantially larger amount of armor on her than the other one did. Like it basically goes all the way down her legs to her ankles, where the claws come out, and then goes all the way up her legs, up her torso. So she's not going to have a whole lot of black on her other than the cloak. And I think we're going to do the same thing we did last time, which was the red lining with the black coat. I just super dramatic, very, very vampire-y. And vampires are 100% drama, so I like it. I want to keep it that way, I think. See if I can find my glasses in my drawers here before having to get up and go look. I'm really sorry about that. I thought I was 100% prepared today, but as usual, I'm not. Appear to be there. Where in the world would I have left them? That's the question. I mean, I only use them when I'm painting miniatures, and this is my miniature table. So where would they have gone? Concern. Okay. I hate to do it. But Weird Hobbies, can you put me on a quick pause while I go track down my glasses? I will try to make it really, really quick, guys. A couple minutes max. So. Hey folks, I'm back. Sorry about that quick little break. I had to run to go find my glasses. Luckily, I couldn't find them, but luckily I have a 3-pack. So just grabbed a fresh pair. My cat was very concerned about it, if you can hear him. I don't know why he's worried, but he apparently was. Should we get up underneath that chin? I think we got it pretty good. Go. I'm really amazed at these sculpts. The fingers, they're so tiny, so fine. And yet they actually managed to hold up to a little bit of, manipulation when you're trying to paint them and stuff. They're very impressive little models. They have very much stepped up their game on the sculpts of these explorers. Got a little bit of dirt there. Getting rid of that. I'm glad they gave me one index point for that silly flame effect, or at least one. There might be another one, but I think it's just the one. Some of these, they have index points, but they really are not very well defined, which is funny since we got individual little fingers here, but we couldn't define an index point. But some of the flames are kind of a little hard to figure out where they're supposed to go. So it's all a matter of looking at the artwork and kind of deducing best location. But this one, she does have an index key, which is nice. These girls are going to be such a nightmare to mount permanently. Like I said, I'm probably going to have to put like some sort of, I don't know, tree or mushroom or something next to them so that they can kind of be propped against it. Because based on their own, they will snap when a strong breeze hits. The these little bitty footsie contacts that they have. And the other girl, she had, she's up on 1 foot, but at least that foot that's down has a nice flat contact point, So I don't worry about her too much. I mean, sure, yeah, she's got that thin little foot holding her up, but at least is the whole foot is holding her up and not just a little bitty contact point. Okay, and that's all for her flesh there, at least basing it in. Purple wash, there we go. Can't wait to get home and work on the 2 projects you've been working on. Nice. I have a basing project I'm doing right now. Nothing serious, just made some bases with deeper recesses so that they could be used for resin pours on swampy bases. And got those designed up and printed. I've still got to print another rack of the 50 millimeters, but glad to finally have those almost done and out of the way. And the cool thing is, now that I've done all the testing and gotten it to print right, I don't have to do that again if anybody wants any more of the bases. Just slap them on the build plate, run it, because they've already been tested. I also have my RC project. This weekend apparently is going to be rainy all weekend, so I don't think we're going to be racing, unfortunately. But I should be ready when it does, when the weather does cooperate. I told the owner of the racetrack, I said, what you need me to do, because it's been raining every damn weekend, is you need me to get my garden planted. Once the garden's planted, all rain in this area ceases until late fall. So once I get my garden planted, we won't have to worry about rain again. Of course, it means that I got to water the garden every day, but at least, we don't have to worry about rain. Need to fix my printer settings to remove these bad warps from printing. It's really bad, fortunately. One, I can sculpt green stuff, milliput. Could it be a temperature thing? Because I know when you're printing larger prints, you have to worry about the temperature dropping because it's getting further and further away from the build plate, and you have delaminations and stuff like that with that. Commander Dante raiding with a party of 3. Thank you very much for that, Ray. Commander Dante, how are you doing? Splash the tea, the dragon is raiding. Very nice. I like that. Hey, Wolfie girl. Commander, how you doing? You don't think the temperature's an issue because the room is in is consistent? Well, I mean, you want it warmer than room temperature because the plastic tends to change, move, warp as temperature changes, and you're going from basically 100 or 190-ish, 200 C to room temperature. That's a big temperature differential. That's going to cause warping. So you might have to keep an enclosure going to fix it. You didn't have these issues before when you got it. Okay, only recently. All right. Just it was a thought. Doing good. The back gas note out. So a raid was needed. I'm not sure what the back gas is, but I'm glad you raided in. Thank you for that. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, it really is tough to troubleshoot remotely, but that, like I said, is one thing I did know about as a potential problem, because I know I'm going to be facing it with some of the prints I plan to do in the future because they're very large, which means they'll be further away from the test bed or print bed. Whoops, my big dumb finger slipped. Oh no, well, that's a bummer, Commander. I know how that happens, or I know it's happened to me before, so I know the feels. Hey, Total. You might want to ease off on that one for a bit, since it is tax season. People may not like the tax man as much or government. But I'm glad you made it here, Total. Personally prefer printing everything in one solid piece rather than sub-assembly, but prefer painting. Yeah, that's very true. Well, no, not really. Unless maybe they're personally related to one. Yeah, not so much. But that's been the thing lately is when he comes in, he's working on the government dime. So, but I was like, it's the tax season. You may want to lay off that one for a bit. Thank you, Cat. Cat is licking my toes right now. Yeah, I get that, Panda. I prefer working in sub-assemblies too, but I've kind of gotten used to, for the most part, with the exception of like these spell effects, uh, doing Malifaux miniatures 100% assembled because they're so fiddly to assemble. But if you don't, you end up with problems. Okay, I'm gonna come in here and start painting up this little bit of. There isn't a whole lot of black on her legs. Most of it is the armor plating. Bit here and there. And of course, I'm gonna be doing the cloak in black too. So we'll do the dramatic vampire black red lining though. Time to drive home. All right, Panda Cookie, drive safe. Thank you for popping in. We'll see you when you get home, hopefully. Okay. I did get a little messy, but we're going to correct some of those spots anyway, so it's not a big deal. I said she's mostly covered in this armor, which the other one was not. The other one was just a little bit on the thighs and the shoulders, or the thighs and the corset. And this is going to be all black here too. Well, that's a bummer. All right. So, just going to base this in real quick around the edges. So I remember this is black. And we'll come up underneath and get the red. And this around here and around the back is the continuation of the corset bustier, whatever we would call it, the armored piece from our front. So we'll leave that little dip there. Probably should be using a bigger brush here on this rather than this little detail brush. I'm just going to throw a little bit of water in it. It'll be fine. We will have to knock the paint off there where that little plug is, because otherwise we'll have problems later on. We got to super glue that piece on the spell effect. That's a bit strange. This is showing us the Dark Reaper color too, or the armor colors, and that's cloth. What should we do? What should we do? We will improvise, because that's what we always do. All right, I'm going to get some brick red out here, or black red, and we'll work on the inner line in that cloak real quick, or the inner lining of the tails, whatever we want to call it. I might have to, I'm going to pull her out of this because that is kind of getting in the way. Okay, this is usually our, this black red is our base coat for red. It's not going to change a whole lot because this is all going to be up in shadow. So there'll be a little bit of highlighting, where light would bounce up or we'd get some reflected light. But otherwise, it's going to be mostly this black red. As always, we'll have to get a second coat as well. Commander, if you're still here, what were you working on today? Okay. All right. We're going to put that aside for just a second. And going to cut in some of this around the face here. Probably can work up the skin next while that red is drying. Do this bit first, and then we'll getting kind of a, I don't know, weird Spider-Gwen feel here out of this miniature. Even though, Spider-Gwen doesn't have 8 eyes, but or at least the Prime Universes doesn't. I don't know about the other ones. She might. About time to do another coat there. On the red. Dun, 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 dun. All right. As soon as we get this little bit of the hood painted, we'll switch back to doing the red base coat or the black red base coat. And then of course we'll have to do the black red around her her collar too. So that's what we did on the other one. Keeping it same-ish. See, her other one has that the red lining to the cloak, to the neck piece. So we'll be doing that on her as well. I really need to try and reshape this brush. I've heard that, I've never tried it. I usually just throw them away. But since this is a broken toad, I might try it and see if it works. But with synthetics, if they start getting tip curls, supposedly you can dip them in hot water. I don't know. I don't think it means boiling water, but like hot, close to boiling, but not quite boiling water. You can actually shape the curl back out. It would be real nice if we could, because I really like the brush. It's a nice brush for a synthetic. Actually kind of changed my mind on them. Unfortunately, they're just as difficult to get as their their natural hair brushes. And I don't know if I'll ever buy those in quantity again. Last time I bought a bunch, I bought 12 brushes, so that, you know, it'd make it worth the $20 shipping from England here. So it was, you know, $130 total or so, 130, 140, somewhere around there. Anyways, point being, the brushes are garbage. They work for like maybe a paint session or two, and then they just start going on like this. And I mean, it doesn't matter how you clean them, how you keep the paint out of the ferrule. It doesn't matter. They just, so it sucks, because Broken Toad was a fantastic brush. I don't know who to use besides them. I've been using them for so long after, you know, losing faith in Winsor Newton. I don't know who else to use. That is still not dry, but I think we can hit some of the higher areas. We paint over that anyways, mostly with highlight, so that one won't matter too much. So I tried a Game Envy, and they're not a bad brush. They're they don't have the snap that I'm used to with other natural hair brushes, but they're not bad. And they're cheap enough that you can, you know, replace them if they go bad, and they're not a big deal, which that's always nice. And they're US based, which means shipping isn't going to be stupid. Even nicer. So I may just stick with them. I would like to have a brush that has, you know, the snap that I'm used to. And I don't know of anybody stateside that has those. Okay. Leave that for a little bit there, and come up here and do this cloak the same way, or the neckline of the cloak the same way. So if anybody has any suggestions, that would be great. Just don't suggest monument hobbies, because yeah, those are also garbage. Or let's say inconsistent garbage. Semi good, others are crap. We're talking about brushes right now. I can't speak for their paints. Yeah, that's the problem. Total. That's the problem. It's just like I can't find them either. Like I said, I've been trying these Game Envy ones, and they're not bad. They're supposedly Kolinsky Sable, but they don't really hold a point very well, and they're really soft. I mean, they have almost no snap. Yeah, QA is gone everywhere, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, it's been a struggle because I'm quickly running out of what I call good brushes, and I don't know what to do when they're gone, because painting doesn't stop just because you don't, or commissions don't stop just because you don't have a brush, right? So what do you do? There's a conundrum on them. Catches needs pants, leaving your hair. Yeah. Well, considering where those hairs come from, I'm not sure I want to be plucking those off my cat. I don't think he'd appreciate it either. Trying to get a little mix here on this color. A little bit of Mephiston and black red. You've been looking at Rosemary & Co. Yeah. Unfortunately, they're not technically U.S. either. They have U.S. distributors, but that doesn't mean they're not going to be subject to the same supply line problems and possible charges that you might pick up. And I had some a while back, like years ago, and I don't know if maybe I just had a bad batch or what, but I wasn't particularly impressed with those either. The only other brush I've had luck with, and unfortunately it didn't last because I wasn't very good at keeping my brushes clean then, was Raphael. And I still actually have one of my Raphael brushes, and I use it quite a lot. I haven't used it lately, but it's this baby here, a number 4. You can see it's a little stiff right now. Get some water on there. Oh, I think I have soap in it. That's why it's stiff. Whoops. But you can see it's got a nice point on it, and it keeps that point. Yeah, Windsor Newtons, I've had issues with Q&A as well. To the point where they're most of the ones I've used have been absolute garbage. I use synthetics from Michaels. I try to save them, don't like them, but they were not the best brand, but it's so expensive. Yeah. Well, if you understand where Sable comes from, you understand the cost. One, they're not, it's kind of a very gray area, because it's technically cruelty to animals. So they have lots of issues with PETA and, other law enforcement areas. But, they source it from the hairs around their booty on these little sable minks. And my understanding is they don't just take the hairs, they kill the mink in the process. So it's not an ethically sustainable brush, not something you really want to use, especially if you care for animals. I do, but I love my brush performance, and I hate myself for it, but that's one thing I just kind of won't budge on. The sables are already unliving from nature processes before. I didn't know that. I thought it was I thought they farm raised them basically and killed them and then harvested the hair. But anyways, like I said, a morally ambiguous thing. Like I said, I love the hair, the brushes, the performance from them, and that's one thing I'll be a little bit of a bad person for, I guess. Okay. But yeah, brushes are a problem. Let's leave that subject. So we're going to get a little bit of Mephiston red here. And work on this cloak a little bit more. Come back in with that previous color we're using and blend that a little bit there. What you got the Illuminati symbol going on there for? I'm trying to get this mix back up here where I like it. Okay, that's pretty good there. Okay, so we got that. I'm trying to decide, do I want to do the back side of this that color? Because it does curl around. Or what? I don't know. I think we might. Let's go ahead and do in the hell is going on with that piece? I have painted that little black speck over and over and over again, and it keeps popping through. I think we got a little bit of oil there. Hesitate to put alcohol there. Alert. Oh, always watch. It makes sense now. See if that'll cover it this time. Okay. Let's come back in with our black and coat these edges down here because we did with the lower edges, we let the black shine through on the edge. And when the upper edges on the cloak, like the hood, the neck piece, the collar, that thing, that's what I was after, the collar, we let the red show through. Okay. There we go. Inner cloak is done. Going to wait for that to dry a little bit more before we work on it. Hey, Stig. What did I cover? When did I cover it? I mean, I don't keep it in here all the time. Oh. Well, you're the first person who's mentioned it. Sorry. Just move the camera back a little bit. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Just okay. We are getting that based in. Okay. Let that dry and we'll hit it with another coat probably in a minute, but for right now, I'm going to let it dry. Okay. Does look like that finally covered up on the neckline, the collar, thankfully. Okay. Good to see you, Stig. How you been, man? Okay. Come back in with this pyramid fest on here. Fishing was mentally exhausted, scatterbrained. Yeah, I feel you there. I have been running myself ragged lately between uh, work and home life, and so there's not much relaxation. Even when you're sitting in your chair at home, it's still basically like work's happening. It's not been fun. I feel you, man. One of the reasons why I picked up the RC thing again. I figure it might give me a little bit of a break somehow. All right. And back with the Mephiston. Okay, getting that there. Now, bring in a little bit of the, oops, we're going to bring in a little bit of the new paint because the other is dried up. This is Wild Rider Red. Don't need a lot. Just kind of hitting this top edge here. Well, slowly moving forward another 10 years, it might actually be completely gone. But yeah. Watch the aftercare on my thumb. And more than 15 years later, they're still pumped with a new. Oh, really? Hikes. Might be a little bit late because it's already kind of grown over. I assumed it would kind of push it forward, but I guess it didn't. That second comment makes a lot more sense after I read the first one. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? I thought it was like, mental health, slowly moving forward, eventually it'll be gone, but talking about the thumbnail. Oh, damn. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was pretty much resigned to the fact I thought I was going to lose the entire thumbnail. I thought the nail bed had been crushed, or the bone plate, whatever it's called. The bone plate, I think it is, that the nail bed grows from. I thought it was crushed, and then I wasn't going to have a nail. So I'm happy just to have one if it's a little misshapen. Oh well. But literally, I got it pinched this way on either side with the door, and I mean, I slammed it hard, like enough to engage the door, so it was already shut and engaged and locked with my thumb on it. It's possible me trying to keep it down like a corn blew up in my face. It's possible I'm trying to keep it down. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that was something I thought about when the nail was still kind of hanging in there. Was trying to like press it down, then maybe it would like reattach, and yeah, that didn't happen. I know this looks like it's part of her armor, but I think we're going to try and paint it as a piece of her cloak instead. I just think it makes it look a little bit more, breaks it up a little bit, makes it look a little more dramatic, like the red and black separation. I lost mine behind the cuticle. A heavy cart knocked something over a row of lockers. Nails are resistant little buggers. It was not particularly happy about that. It was supposed to have been bolted down. Ooh, yeah. Definitely should have been bolted down. Yeah, mine was unfortunately all my fault. my klutziness did it. Get a little bit more black here. Thank you. It's just a good old Vallejo model color black. It's probably one of the blackest blacks, like closest to black without being tinted another color. And it's very, very matte, which is one of the things I really like about it. But yeah, we're gonna work on fixing some of that up here. We'll be adding some highlights and stuff for it. But for right now, we're just working on kind of the reds for the moment. I do need to trace in some of this black though, because we didn't go all the way around. See, it's going to stop on the side of her corset, bustier, whatever we want to call it. It's an armored one of those. We're going to come at this, because this way is going to be it. There we go. Now we got it. Okie dokie. I don't think we quite did that black well enough. We were working with that other brush, so it's not as detailed. Let's find a point. Did you see the other one, Stig? I haven't finished her magical effect, the little blue purple swirly thing. But that's the other one finished up with the kind of non-metallic armor on the legs and the corset. That's what we'll be doing on this one. Except she seems to be wearing more. It's like on, although I don't know, it could be argued that this is just sleeve up here and it's just an armor on her elbow and on the shoulder. I think that is it. I think this is sleeve. Ooh, I painted it as armor. Whoops. Yeah, definitely it does look like sleeve. Oh well, we'll be doing some more black. Hey, Zachariah, how you doing? Welcome in. We are working on a Spelleater today. How are you? What are you working on? Or are you working on anything? Yeah, I like that. That'll add a little more definition there. Just being shoulder pads and elbow pads. Well, I thought it was armored all the way down, but it looks like it is just on her elbow and the shoulder, which to me makes more sense, and it's going to look better, I think. I mean, if I wanted to, I could have probably done it just sleeves. Actually, now that I think about it, I kind of want to do skin up too because there really isn't a definition there. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Dadgummit, now you made me change everything. Doing well. Been working on pulling my figures out of storage. My old Malifaux figures is going to be there somewhere. Doing some Reaper stuff at the moment. I found Ortega. I think if you're Perdita Ortega, cool. That was actually my first keyword that I painted. I had others, of course, but hers was the first one I painted because it was so small. It was, I think it's 11 or 13 figures. I think it's 13 with the title box. But smallest keyword I had. So I was like, you know what? Let's start with this one. That way I can get it done, get it on the table quickly. So that's what we did. Sorry about this little change plans here, folks. Sometimes things change. We'll have to redo the wash, but it's okay. No biggie. Yeah, I think this will look better. Less armor. Yes, total. You can take credit for me redoing my work. Thank you. Making me start over. Yeah. I think this is probably one of the first times you've done that. Like, most of the time I talk myself out of it, but this time you did it. Or prompted me to do it. One of the, gave me the thought process. Oh, I got to change this. That's okay. I like it. Gives her a little bit more skin to work with, right? Now I'm looking at all the Malifaux needful things I missed over the decade of taking off for mini painting. Oh, well, the good thing is the Easter sale's coming up starting tomorrow. You'll be able to buy some extras or buy some things to fill in things. I will tell you, you're going to have some overlap because maybe not so much in the Ortega family, but most of the other models because of the way they repackaged or shrunk the SKUs by repackaging. If you've got some partial keywords, you're going to probably end up with some double models if you go to fill them back out. Just going to warn you a little bit. There is a secondary market if that fails. If you can get lucky and find the missing models you need without buying the core or support boxes. But just if you are buying new, you're going to end up with some doubles. Okay, just want to make sure. I wanted to kind of give you that heads up that you may run into that. Because I like one in particular, the VIX. That was one of the second keywords I went with. The VIX got repackaged the way the core box is set up, and if I hadn't managed to pick up the other members of the keyword before that, I would have ended up with a lot of doubles. Okay. Yeah, I like that a lot better. I think that works. We'll come in here and we've got to figure out a separation point for the shoulder pads and keep it separate from the corset too, which should be relatively easy. I can come in here. And then cut this way, I think. I'm getting into paint again, but slower by if your self-control stands. yeah, that's the hard part, that self-control. I know of like a literal handful of people that paint all their models, buy new models, paint all their models, buy new models. Like very few people can do this. It is like almost Guinness Book worthy if somebody can do that. Very, very rare talent. And the problem is, I'm going to be honest, the problem is it really does lead to a paralysis of sorts. When you get so many models, it really weighs on you. Like, what do I do next? Oh my God, I've got this model and 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 this model. And it can become overwhelming. So personally, I'm a big fan of the keep it small, keep it simple, finish them, start a new one. Even though I haven't personally done it, I think that's the best way to do things. You won't have problems or as many problems. Just do as I say, don't do as I do. Selling a storage shed's worth of stuff. Wow. Yes, friends to do it. Nice. God knows I have no self-control. Yeah. Well, like my Malifaux shame pile is 90 gallons worth. I have 3 30-gallon tubs filled. That gives you an idea of how much I've got. Always paint it by objective. So right now I'm betting on sponsors for D&D and or Dungeon Dweller, and trying to get him to expand. Nice, very cool. Yeah. Like I said, I tend to go overboard when I find a game or a model company that I like. I tend to go overboard. My Infinity pile of shame is just as large. It's 90 gallons worth of Infinity. So I have 6 tubs of models, and that's not my Warhammer stuff. My Warhammer stuff is really a very, very large collection. I'm actually probably going to prune it down soon. I'm tired of just having the model sitting around collecting dust. I had initially planned to do a really cool diorama. I was going to do a Tomb World Awakening with all the Necrons, because I've got 20 or 22,000 points of Necrons, so a lot. And I was planning on doing a Tomb World Awakening with it all, but just like, it's never going to happen. So a warrior, a whole box of Termagants, terrain effects, single berserk. That's really not that much Dragon Legion. I mean, I know you got more on the way, but that's not a whole lot yet. Those are rookie numbers, man. You gotta bump those numbers up. 3 tubs total between Reaper, Warlord, Rubicon, and Missing Mice. Have hundreds of pounds. Ooh, wow. Really? Of the pewter figures? Nice. Wow. That is pretty substantial there, Zachariah. Okay, now we're coming back in and hitting that cold flesh with the purple wash, like we were doing before. But we changed the positioning of the skin. So now we got to do it again. Okay. Go. You know, the pewter stuff that you have is probably worth a pretty penny because no one prints in pewter anymore, or cast in pewter anymore. They use a white metal blend now, which doesn't include the lead. So you probably got a pretty substantial monetary investment there if you were to sell it to the right people. I mean, hell, even Infinity Corvus Belli has always been a big proponent of metal. They were like, we'll never change to plastic. We are always going to do metal. They have started doing Cyocast and a Cyocast resin mix, I think, on their miniatures. They were starting out, they were just going to do like the remotes and tags and stuff, but they have moved into doing some of the figures because white metal has become so expensive in Europe. So yeah, you probably have a substantial penny there in your collection. They doing the Monster Mash in this model. 2,000 points of Space Marines already, and it's just Marines. Cool. Got 350. Let's make a deal. I got about $1.50. $1.50. Let's make a deal. Okay, so I think we are kind of done with our base cuts. The only thing that's really been worked up has been the red. I'm going to do just a little bit. Ring of black right down here. But then we can get to shading the black and starting on the non-metallic workup portion. Okay. So we got some people in here. I'll leave it to you. What do you want to see first? You want to see the black workup? The red on this portion of the little tabard here? Or the armor workup, the non-metallic armor? What do you want to see first? Or skin. Skin's kind of boring, but we'll throw that in there. Okay. I figured that was going to be the answer. I figured. Okay. My Dark Reaper. I choose violence. I like that. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of that and a little bit of this and a little bit of our Fenrisian gray. And then we'll get some white. You okay, cat? He came away from the food dish and he shook his head and he just sat there. After he shook his head for like a good 2 minutes, and I was like, "Are you all right? Did you shake something loose there?" You got some good news. Well, you gonna make us beg for it? And this place might have. Panda Cookie Miniatures is now officially a business. Wow! Congratulations. My cat's sitting here saying, "I'm not sure. Is he insulting me or not?" Minis come with at least one cat hair included. Yes. These come in very handy for cat hairs. Those little tiny teeth, they can get in almost anywhere, any little crevice. I like those a lot. Okay, so working on the armor. So we got us a little mix here. I'm going to move my wet palette over here to show it to you. We got our Dark Reaper here. Dark Reaper mixed with black. A little bit of Dark Reaper and some Fenrisian Gray. A little more Fenrisian Gray added to it than Fenrisian Gray. And we got some ready for white and then some pure white. That's what we'll be using on this armor, the armor bits. But I got a model from Lobby of Hobby. Didn't know the instructions were all in Japanese. Whoops. Yeah, you should probably be fine. The instructions are insanely good. Just from those alone, like I words. I built a lot of Tamiya models back in the day, and Tamiya models have incredibly good picture direction. So even if you don't understand Japanese, you're going to be fine. So what we're doing now is coming in with some of that that mix, the Fenrisian Gray and Dark Reaper, and hitting some of the higher areas here. I think I'm probably going to switch to the lighter one anyway. Spilled Paint Pot. Hey, how are you doing? Welcome in. We are working on a Spelleater from the Canvas keyword. Also, uh, Witch Hunter, I think. Witch Hunter and Cadmus, which means I could use these with Sonya. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it, Bill Paint Pot. So, if you weren't here last week, we did work on one of these other Spelleaters, and I'll show it to you here in a second. Basically, same workup. Black cloak, red lining, and a kind of blued metallic armor. So that's it. I have not finished the edging on here, but that's what she looks like. Thank you very much. So similar effect, basically, what we're going for with this one. Working on a few mature Nephilim today. Nice. I found out you don't need to use a master to run your crew, so I'm going to try and make a Barbaros crew for fun. Interesting. Yeah, you can always use a henchman. Most people choose to use a master just because they're usually a little bit stronger. But yeah, some henchman-led crews are great. Another one you can consider if you have puppet models and or Key and Gong, and what's the other one? Neverborn. You can do oh God, what is her name? It just Hinamatsu. She is a beast as a henchman. And if you do, puppet Neverborn / Key and Gong, well, I guess it would depend on which one you are. I don't know. Can you do Key and Gong? No. I think just Neverborn and puppet keywords. Let's see here. But anyways, she can do pretty solidly. Hinamatsu, where are you at? Okay, so she is puppet and Key and Gong. So I guess if you went Key and Gong, you'd have to use other Key and Gong models with her, and or puppet ones. No, Neverborn. But anyways, yeah, she's a beast. That's a good one to run as a henchman. I did it not too long ago for a Key and Gong crew. So if you're a follower on my Facebook, you should be able to look it up. If not, well, it is Haunted Hobbies, I believe. Okay, just kind of working these around here a little bit. This is the lighter one here I'm working with now. Well, it should be on Insta as well. But yeah, Facebook probably easier to find just because it's organized. And I don't update Instagram very often, unfortunately. I really should be better about that, but I'm not. Oops. I had to check outside, make sure that window's not broken. Lawn dude just hit the window with a rock. Mm-hmm. So I'm using the lighter mix now, which is more Fenrisian gray, less dark reaper. That's the word. It is really watered down, so we're gonna have to soak a little bit of that water out because I need a little bit of detail here. Now, a little bit, please. Thank you. All right. So yeah, sorry I'm a little quiet. I tend to get that way when I'm painting details. Um, but yeah, thank you for that follow. I appreciate it. When you're doing non-metallics, there tends to be, or any sort of blending, there tends to be a lot of back and forth action. So it gets super boring to narrate it all, but you'll see colors going back and forth between light and dark, and that's just the process. That's the way the cookie crumbles. I don't know whether that Strap. What did we do for strap? Oh, we painted it black. Okay. Whoopsie doopsie. That's cool. That saved me a little bit. I could do it brown just to stand out just a little bit more. Or what, just do black? I think we'll just do black. I think Nephilim can be whatever color you want them to be. Blue became kind of the standard for them with weird. I think maybe to keep them separate from being, quote, demons, because most demons or devils are depicted as red, right? So maybe they did them blue to kind of set themselves apart from that. So I would say you can paint them whatever color you like. I've seen, I think I've seen some green ones, and I've seen some red ones, and I've seen some purple ones. I paint them whatever color you're best at painting, so that you can do your blends well. But I did do mine blue. I did them this blue, which seems really, really super bright. Adriatic blue from Scale Color, but then I did a black oil wash over them, kind of dulled them down a bit. Oh, got an update. Sorry, checking to make sure nothing special had happened on Discord. Looks like we got an update on a special playtest, which is cool. Okay. Okay. Let's get some of that sky blue in here. Fenrisian blue. Fenrisian gray, excuse me, sorry. Probably not on screen. Sorry about that, guys. We're just going to come in and edge a little bit. This is some of that Fenrisian gray mixed with white. And I'll pull a little bit of pure white off here. Right there, kind of the point of interest. And of course, I'll blob it on black because, why not? Oh, well, corrections are a thing. Here we go. Okay. This is just that Fenrisian gray we're working with. Okay. Okay, now we'll pull that white or the Fenrisian gray and white back in. Up here on tops of these plates. And paint colossally fail right where I don't want it. Colossal failure. Or as Bob Ross would say, there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. We're going to try and capitalize on that and shape this area back up a little bit. Got a little bit more definition there now. Okay, now we're going to come back in with some white, and that pure white. And put a drip drab there. And there. Come in and line this other a little bit better. Maybe Fenrisian gray. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be basically doing the same thing on all these pieces. That was the first bit of armor kind of worked up and done. It's sometimes easier to do it by section, because if you do like one color and then go to use that color all over, you end up kind of forgetting where you were. So it's just easier just to do one section at a time, wherever it's convenient to kind of break it up. So that you don't forget what color you were working with. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Anyways, that's what we're doing. Just going to correct a few little spots there. Go. Okay. Bring some more of that Fenrisian blue in here. And then we'll shape it up with some of those other colors, the previous colors that we were using, because we don't want those little hatch marks in there. Although they can be useful. I mean, if you're doing armor, it could be like little miniature horizon lines broken up, Not a horrible thing to have hash marks in armor. I'll mix a little bit of the previous with some of that Fenrisian gray. Just a little bit more of a blend there. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to go back to our highlight color here. And then we're going to go to a little bit darker version on the back side because we don't need super bright here on the back. So it'll look pretty bright, but it won't be too bright. There we go. There's some pure white here. I'll put those grooves in. And then we'll do a little bit of highlighting right there on those. Like that. We're going to work on this kneecap-ish area here. Got a little crazy there, so we're going to bring some darkness back into it. There we go. Reinforce that seam there. Do the same down here too. There's Sneezy Pants. Okay, so now we got most of our brightness built up here on this piece. So we're doing some highlighting. This is the Fenrizian gray, and we'll work it in with the previous color a little bit so it's not kind of just a big blob sitting there. Lost our little definition here. Put that back in. Okay. Catch that edge. Ooh, I'm probably off screen. Catch this edge here a little bit. Yeah. Switch colors up a little bit there. Okay, now pull some pure white up here and catch just like the high spot there. And we'll just kind of work our way around doing what we're doing here. Got our Henry's gray. Back in here at the top. Again down here at the ankle. We need to blend that in a little bit. Both of those. Okay. Yeah, it's tedious. It's very tedious. Reinforce that shadow just a wee bit. Oh, I appreciate that. Oh, I am I am suffering some back pain today. I spent several hours working on a puzzle last night. Beach scene with a VW, with the flowers and stuff on it. It's a little hippie V-dub and some surfboards and people on the beach and stuff. It was a neat puzzle, but oh lordy, I spent way too much time on that. You don't really have good posture when you're working on a puzzle, or most people don't. Okay, now we'll work on the hip armor. Actually, I want to take a quick second to highlight those straps. I always forget how much you enjoy piecing together puzzle. My family and I tend to do that when we ran that cabin. Yeah, it's good fun. Good fun for cabin time. It's one of those things to do, if the power's ever out during daytime hours, of course. You have good sunlight. Haven't really done the cabin thing in so many years. I don't remember the last time I did that, but did do it back then. Yeah. I had some ulterior motives. My folks had borrowed my folding table and started a puzzle and just quit. It's been sitting there for 10 weeks. And I'm like, okay, guys, I need my freaking table back. So But our puzzle, I was like, I'll put it together. I need my table. So that's it. That's why I started working on a puzzle. Not out of any sort of nostalgia or fun, but I wanted my damn table. And I started my parents having it. I've never understood why these people that have so much don't buy their own folding table. They're not that expensive. I think I'm going to get just a little bit lighter gray on it as well. And those little straps. There we go. Okay. We're about done with those, and then we'll get back to the armor painting. I wanted to get those before I got too far along, in case something ridiculous happened. As is wont with my miniatures, something always ridiculous happens. Go. I have been blasting through the tea today. It's not that hot or anything. I just don't know. Thirsty. Okay. So now we'll work on the hip plate here. And both legs will be, done for the armor at that point. Okay, and we'll reinforce the shadows a little bit. A little bit right in here as well. All right, Panda Cookie. Thank you for hanging out. I do appreciate it. We will catch you next time. Now we're going to pull just a little bit more of that reason gray in there. I'm going to edge some of this here. I need to do that over here as well. Get some of the pure white. Put a little bit right here. There we go. Both the legs are pretty well done. And we'll move on to the chesticle area. Okay. Those little raised sections are going to be a bit rough. They're very, very tiny. So we'll probably not get a whole lot of blending on those, right? So we're just going to paint them kind of the mid-tone and catch some highlights on them, and that'll basically be it for them, right? Leave the recess area. I might come in with just a little bit of shading. See how it looks. Yeah, I actually like that a little bit. There we go. think that's working out pretty good. And there's not a whole lot of detail to it. I mean, there's detail, but there's not a lot of room to work with. So just blend where blend can, and don't worry too much about it. The bigger pieces like those bars seem to look a little stark when you put the other paint on it. So those might get a tiniest bit of a blend. All right, yeah, I think that's working pretty good, and we'll do that again right up here between these. Maybe just a tiny bit of shadow underneath. Yeah, it's looking pretty good, don't you think? Hey, llama, you speak, therefore you exist, right? How are you doing? Sweaty? Well, I'm not sweaty. I wore my shirt today, but yeah, it is. I've been excessively thirsty, which is very strange. So I guess it is warmer today. Okay. Where's my brick red? Brick red, brick red. There you are. Ooh. Ooh, we don't need those. Go away, yawns. We don't need those at all. We're gonna have the Spelleater. What you been up to? That you're sweaty. Have you been outside? Okay. Pretty digging this. Pretty well digging this here. Did I get? I did. I went right up on that black, didn't I? Wow. Get a bit in that mix here. This is not going to see a whole lot of sunlight, so it's really not going to be much of this color at all. Just a little bit to give a hint of some lightning going on. Not like lightning, but lighting from beneath going on. Under lighting, that's the word. Yeah. Under lighting. Okay. So now we've got the legs, hip plates, and abdominal armor done. Let's swing around and do that back corset doodad. It comes out awful bright. Let's let it die down a little bit before we modify, but we're probably going to end up having to blend that in a little bit. So we'll work on the sides here a little bit. little highlight here. There. Same thing here. Okay, yeah, it's still pretty bright. So let's bring in some darkness here. Shape this up a wee little bit. Get a little bit of our black detail, or our armor detail, which is not black, it's actually blue and black. And we're going to run it around the side of this too. Okay, now we're going to come in and get some of our highlight colors, the really bright stuff. And draw in the rest of our little corset doodad. There we go. All right. Coming along, taking some time. We have not even begun the skin work up. And my hands are cramping. How are you guys doing? So basically, we need to do the breastplate, the elbows, and the shoulders. And I think that'll be that. So let's get to working here. Probably should go ahead and do the skin before we get too involved in this. But I probably won't. Go ahead and paint these here. My paint is starting to dry up, which is funny since I'm using a wet palette, but what can you do? Okay, now we're going to come in here, do just a wee bit of the Fenrisian gray up here at the top center. Then we'll do some highlighting or edging, whatever you want to call it. If I can catch it. There we go. Ooh, finally. It's like double layers, so there's like a line, 2 lines where the plates like overlap. So make sure we catch that. I'll do that inner line there. See, now I got the chest armor done. Kind of blown out, but it's done. Okay. So now I'm going to work a little bit on this armor here. Armor. Haha. Now we're going to pull in a little bit of this mix here, do some edging. We might might put in a little bit of the darkness to those recesses to make them pop a little bit more. Probably be the best thing to do for it. Let's get some of the dark there. Working in. There we go. Maybe just a wee bit here on the other side of this lightness. Okay, now we'll come in with some of our almost pure white, which again has nearly dried up. There we go. Got a little bit done there. We'll move on to this side. I think we already did that color, didn't we? We did. So we're just going to move on to edge highlighting here. We'll get that shadow color back in real quick. Define those plates a little. Again, this is just a little bit of dark reaper mixed with some black. That's all it is. And then we'll get a little spot of white up here. Off camera, whatnot. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, so the elbow armor is done. And then we'll work on the shoulder armors. Yay. This woman has a lot more armors on her, so she's taking longer. I mean, we haven't even done the black or finished the red highlights. Ugh. Sorry about that, guys. Usually try and do a model on a stream, but this one, she's like, no, not happening. Just forget about it. I am too powerful for your paintings. So I came up on a deal the other day, well, a couple of days ago, for pork butts, or which are basically pork shoulders. $1.29 a pound. Been a while since they've been that price. So definitely bought some and spent the weekend smoking, which is great. I love smoked meat, but oh my Lord, I hate that smell. Like even after showering, it's hard to get that smell out. It lingers. Lingers. But oh man, that smoked pork is good to eat. Okay. About finish up with these. Just gonna do some shading real quick. I'll do some highlighting, edging, whatever you want to call it, edging, highlighting. Okay. Actually did miss a little bit down here, this little bit. This tail needs to be painted. Here we go. Okay, so the armor is freaking all done, finally. So all that's left is her skin and the black. Whew. All right, fun. So I'm going to say, honestly, we are definitely not going to finish her today. But we will attempt to get as much done as can. I'm going to work on the red because honestly, the black, I don't know if you can tell, but there's these little tide marks everywhere. This is not wash. It should not have tide marks. And the reason this is because the water I'm using is not distilled. It has minerals in it. And those minerals cause that problem. So if you're painting black and you're doing your hand blending, make sure that you use distilled water because you will hate life otherwise. I almost always have it, but today I didn't. So yeah, this one's on me. Get a little bit of that up here. Couldn't quite reach it with the brush. I didn't want to paint all over the armor. We'll get it this way. You see, it blends pretty well, but we may need to do just a little bit of extra blendy right there. See how that looks when it dries. Pretty happy with how that looks. This one having all the extra armor is really fun. Challenging, but fun. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, we're getting close. We only got a few minutes left, so I just want to finish up the red here, and I think we'll be good. I'm going to get a smidge of Wild Rider or Evil Sons. And we'll do a little bit more highlighty-dighty cloak. Okay. Hoping it will dry up eventually. I actually need to put a little bit of that up here on her collar too, because we went straight to, we did Mephiston and then straight to Wild Rider. So let's pull a little bit of that up here. Just a little bit. And we'll probably have to do a little blending. If I try to keep it thin, maybe we won't have to. See how it looks when it's dry. Okay. Red on the cloak is pretty well done other than edging. So let's do that real quick. That's probably going to finish this out, honestly. There actually is a little bit of like a accent line here, so let's see if we can catch that real quick. And that'll be it, I think. Here we go. So, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. We got most of a Spelleater done today. We got to do her black and the skin, but I think the armor and the cloak really turned out nicely, or the inner cloak turned out nicely. Thank you everybody for hung out with us today. We'll be back next week with some awesome painters. I'm not going to say who because I always screw the schedule up. So we'll be back next week with awesome painters. How about that? So tune in next week and catch us then. Till then, stay safe and be weird.